Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie Beglow with MemoryInkers.com. Today I am going to share some stuff with the Sea of Textures stamp set and the Under the Sea framelits. Look at these framelits, aren't they the coolest? This actually cuts out the octopus, just so you know. It's a little school of fish and the other pieces of the sea. Now, the interesting thing about this stamp set is I am not a water person. I saw Jaws and the Poseidon Adventure at a rather tender age while in high school, and I guess you could call me aquaphobic. Not officially, don't need a psychiatrist for that anyway. I might for a few other things, but we won't go there. Anyway, so when I saw this stamp set at Onstage back in April, my first thought was, because it was part of our pre-order, was I'm not going to get that stamp set. I'm fine without it. I don't need it. Yeah. And then I saw some things made. In fact, this card, this little notebook here was inspired. Let me pull that a little closer. Hopefully the lighting is good. This was inspired by something that was done by Shelley Gardner, who is the co-founder, and now she's a board member because her daughter Sarah is our new CEO. So she made that, and or something similar to that, and I fell in love with all of the pieces, and since it was a bundle, I had to get the stamp set, and honestly, I love the stamp set now. I love this sentiment, thanks for reaching out. Yeah, like that is the coolest. And have a wonderful adventure. You know, that is perfect now for graduations. It's perfect for weddings or just a friend who's going on a vacay. Or like if you're like me, I'm on Weight Watchers. Trust me, it's an adventure. And yes, I know I'm really behind on catching up, guys. I will probably do a separate video just on the weeks that I've missed on Weight Watchers, but I'm still on track, just FYI. Anyway, and then there's another saying on here, you're one of a kind. So I'm going to show you that this little book, this was actually just a notebook that I had on hand. It actually was from a past, like way in the beginning, paper pumpkin kit from long, long ago. And as you know, Paper Pumpkin has become really over-the-top awesome. Not that it wasn't good then, but now it's like awesome. Anyway, so I am going to redo this, but I'm going to do it as a note card because, you know, I don't really have a lot of reason to make a lot of notebooks. Although I think they'd be adorable if you do craft shows and things. They would probably sell really well. So I'm going to bring everything out and show you what you need. So hold on 1 minute. Okay, so here's everything you're going to need to make this little card kit, this little card that I'm making. You're going to need the Very Vanilla note cards and envelopes. You will need a scrap of Very Vanilla, okay? Then you will need a scrap of crumb cake, some Night of Navy, and the Night of Navy is cut for the note cards. It's cut at 4 7/8 by 3. And then you're also going to need a scrap that is cut, oh, I don't have it here, but anyway, you're going to need a strip that's cut the same length, 4 7/8 by 1.5. Okay? And then you will need some designer series paper. This is the okay, what is it called? Tranquil Textures Designer Series paper. And this piece itself is cut at 4 3/4 by 3 7/8. Is that right? Yeah. I think it's 2 7/8. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me look. Yep, 2 7/8. I wrote it wrong on my note. And you'll also need another scrap because we're going to cut something out of this side. If you remember on the little note card, that's where this is the back of this paper. Okay? So, also, you will need the awesome new Nature's Twine. I am loving this. You can see I'm like using it up like crazy. So, definitely have to restock this one. So, you'll need some of that. You will need your fine tip glue pen or some other form of glue, snail adhesive, Wink of Stella. This is the clear Wink of Stella. You will need the punch. This is the everyday label. I write the names on the back because I need to know. So you're going to need these fun tranquil texture sprinkles. Look at them. Aren't they the coolest? Love those. And then I like to have a silicone mat. If you don't have one of these, it does not come with the little bear shape cutout. I did that so I would know which ones are mine because the bear is my thing. You will need your snips. A pair of tweezers are not a bad idea. Some dimensionals. A sponge. Now, if you buy our sponges, you know they come in a big, they're pretty big. I trim them down to use them up. And I think I said snail. Okay. And of course the stamp sets. The ink pads you will need are Night of Navy and Crumb Cake. So there's all of your supplies that you need to create the little note card that we're going to do inspired by this little book. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, so now one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two pieces and I'm going to adhere them together with my snail. You'll notice on the booklet I did round the corners with the cool new trio punch. It does, I don't know if you can see it. Here, I'll turn it upside down. It does, oh, it's a detailed trio. Has a corner rounder. It has like cool little leaves. And then this actually punches sort of a small little oval. I don't know if you can see the shapes or not on camera. But this is cool. This is in the new catalog, just so you know. Okay, but because I didn't want to round the note card, I decided to go ahead and keep this one square. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. Oh, let's make sure we adhere the right side. I'm going to use some snail just all the way. I do all four sides. You really, you don't really need to like cover the whole thing. I'm in Michigan and we have some serious humidity here. And if I can get away with doing just those four sides, probably most of you can as well. Now, I'm not too panicked about this side of the card. You can see it's not quite the same evenness. In fact, I expected it to be a little bit even more than that, but you'll see why in a minute. So then we're going to adhere this to the front of the card. And I'm going to do it this way so I can see a little bit better. Actually, that'd be pretty. It kind of looks like waves, but I like it this way. And then I'm going to add this piece. Now, you can't see this on camera, but this is the faux suede technique. And I wanted to show you how you do that. You take your bone folder, which I've moved mine, so I don't know where it is. And you just keep folding and doing the paper until it starts to come apart. And then you just tear. And if you don't do that, what happens is you can see it no longer tears. I am going to use this piece and possibly that piece depending on in just a minute, but I wanted to show you that I did do that with the Night of Navy. In fact, you can you see that hole right there where my finger's coming through? It wasn't tearing that great either, so, but that's okay. I only needed one side to look good. So, and I just thought this would be more fun. For this, it was more like a cool book binding, in my opinion. Also, this is why this thing is so good, and I forgot to pull it out. I love silicone because you can kind of go really close to the edge. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but then I like to take it and just, it works better when the cardstock is full thickness. But, because this is really thin and it'll tear pretty simply. Now I'm just going to put some down the center there because I know what I want it to do. And then, oops, better leave that out. I'm going to set this on the silicone mat and then I'm going to eyeball about halfway. And I'm lining it up. It isn't perfectly cut to the right size, and that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Fold that there, and then take it and fold it over. Oh, I have schmutz on my card. Oh well, it's on the back. Okay, so now you can see where, as I was saying, now you can see how I have the suede on both sides. It's a really cool texture. I mean, you really, if you've never done it, you should try it. It's very cool. Okay, so I also then stamped the Have a Wonderful Adventure in Night of Navy ink onto that scrap of Very Vanilla. And I'm going to punch it out. I like to punch after I have stamped, because then I have a better chance of getting it even. It's me, so perfection may or may not happen in my world, as you all know. Especially now, because it's like, it's not really right in front of me. So I'm struggling. There we go. And then the other pieces you're going to use to run through the big shot and cut out the little starfish pieces. Okay. I also, with the crumb cake piece, I cut out this little fisherman's net. And then remember I said you wanted to use the other side. That's actually kind of cool. I might do that side on this one. We'll see. But I was going to use that side. So, and then for the card, I just used a little, I think this is 5 inches. Yep, 5 inches of the twine. On the book, I did tie it, and what I did for the book was I tied it around the book before I adhered everything, so that the tie was underneath the book. This was tied perfectly, and then my daughter wanted to look at it, and she untied it. She wanted me to give it to her husband, but I hadn't made this video yet, so I couldn't. So, because he's going on an outing. I guess he's helping a friend bring back a boat, like from the Bahamas or something. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so here we are now at the basics of the card. So one of the other things that I did here, you'll see, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't mess it up, because that's my way also. I grabbed this image, and I didn't want it to be too dark, because see, that's kind of dark. I didn't want it that dark, so I just kind of went over it just a little bit like that, just to give it that, you know, dirty netting kind of a look. Oh, and then I forgot to tell you, you'll want a crumb cake marker for this next step. I like to edge things. So if you just take the brush end of your marker and run it back and forth, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it does darken it a little bit. There, that you should be able to see pretty good. And it just helps it to stand out a little bit more. And I do it this way. See how I'm holding it? That's because if my pen slips and I get a mark, it's going to go on the reverse side. If I did it this way, I'd probably slip like that. And believe me, I have slipped many times doing this. Even after all these years, I still do. So it's a habit I have kept. See, I just about slipped there. So, isn't this fun? Watching me do this? Yeah. Wake up! Okay, I'm almost done. Nobody panic. Okay, so now you can see I've kind of dirtied it up like I have on that one. Then for the starfish, what I wanted to do is I wanted to, because starfishes are so pretty, and all these pieces fall out, but a real starfish isn't hollow, you know, it just doesn't have that. So first what I did was I sponged all the edges. Although starfish, when they're out in the sun, they turn bright, bright white, but we're going to pretend this one is still in the ocean. Do the same with this little guy. And this one I'm going to leave a little bit brighter. This one, I actually went a little bit crazy with this one. I know what you're thinking. I outlined the edges just like I did before. And I did it, you know, not perfectly, just kind of a quick, because it's hard to get into the little corners of the flower, and that's okay, or the star. So I just did that a little bit, and then I took the pen side and I tried to be as light as I could, making little, like I wish I could zoom in, but I don't have one of those fancy cameras, so try to zoom at home, do me full screen. Oh, that one came out a little too dark, but that's okay. Because, you know, they have those little spots, so you can see I wanted him to have like the little spots of a starfish. And then I just sponged him a little. Okay, and we're going to fancy him up in a little bit too. So now so those are all those pieces, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my silicone mat, I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to cover it with snail, and then if you flip it over, you can kind of rub. Is that in camera? Yeah, good. Okay. You can kind of rub the whole parts, and it'll take away the adhesive. And then I'm just going to press this on there and take my snips, and I just go slightly behind because I don't really want to have a hole in there if I can help it. Doesn't mean it won't happen on camera, but I'm trying. You just take your time. Obviously you can go faster where you've got a little more space, but when you get to these holes, you got to be a little more careful so that you don't cut all the way behind. Okay. All right, see? And see now, doesn't it look more like a little starfish? And the same thing with this little guy. Again, flip him over and kind of rub away the adhesive. And then stick him down. He's a little easier to cut because you can, you know, pull your scissors back behind it a little bit better. You don't have to worry about the little holes, just the big hole in the center. So now everything is pretty much ready except for the netting. Now, I know this is hard, but I want you to just mess it up. And, you know, it might tear. It might, but that's okay. This is an old fishing rope that perhaps fell into the water. And it might be a little gnarly and nasty looking. And that's what you want. And it gives it some very cool dimension. What do you think? Cool? That was a tip from Shelly. Thank you, Shelly Gardner, wherever you are. She's probably in Utah somewhere. Because she lives there. Okay, so there are all of my pieces. Now I'm going to put it together. I'll be right there. Okay, here we go. We're going to get started. So now I have my note card base. I am going to just adhere things where I think they are going to go. Whoops. See this, when it's thinned out, it is thinned out. So it sometimes wants to pull back. So I'm just going to put that little starfish there. And then now for this, this is a little bit harder to adhere because I want it to be bumpy like that. So that is where one of the places that the glue pen is going to come in. So I'm going to flip this over and kind of get an idea of where I want it to touch down on the card base. Just pick a couple of spots. And it's possible that some of this will leak through, but it will tend to just look wet. So I'm all right. That's okay. It can do that. So now I have a couple of spots, and you know that you want to close this glue up quickly. If you haven't used this before, it's got the little pin. I have enough trouble doing this when I'm home alone. Then you just push the pin in. If it ever gets stuck and doesn't want to open and or close, try shooting it with your heat gun. I know it's a little scary. Usually what will happen is it won't go in. But if you do the metal piece with just the heat gun, don't heat the plastic too much. It'll soften it up and make it work. So now I'm just going to press in the places that I think that I pressed and did that. I may have waited too long. These look like they're sticking, but maybe I didn't put one up there. Okay, that's all right. because I can do it again. Just bend it back and add a little, and then press down. I like to hold it for a minute. Did I say that? I can't remember. All right, putting the lid back on. This time you're not watching me. Oh my golly, you guys would be so unimpressed with me right now there, finally. Okay, so go on. Always when you're on camera, it's an adventure here. Okay, now for this one, I'm just, you know what? I'm still going to go with the same side. I'm going to dirty this up a little bit. I didn't do it on the original, but I am on this one, and I thought there might be enough on the sponge, but there isn't. But I'm going to dirty this up a little bit, and especially down here, because after I made that other one, I thought, something doesn't look quite right about the bottom of that. In fact, let's get a lot more on there. There, that makes it look more like it's in the dirt. Aha! I love when a plan comes together. And then for this one, you can use the fine tip glue pen again, but this time I'm just going to put it upside down on my silicone mat, and I'm going to run snail over it and over the bottom. You just have to go slow because you don't want it to tear. And then, like I did before, upside down and rub out the excess pieces. And then pick it up. And you might need to pull some of these apart because they want to stick together. It's not a huge deal if they do. And I'm going to put that over here this time because I got a nice bump on that one. And then you want to press it so that it sticks as best that you can. There we go. Okay, so now we have that. Then I am going to take this piece of rope. It's actually twine. And I am going to set it where I want it from behind. You could adhere it to the sentiment if you wanted to, but I chose not to. And now I can see that that's going to be a little too long. I'm going to wait to trim it because I'll mess up if I don't. Now I'm going to take, what did I do with them? Ah! I lost my little starfish. Hold on, I got to find it because I probably dropped it. I'll be right back. Haha, I found them. They were stuck on the back of the card. Nice job, Carrie. Keep everything in place. Okay. So now I am going to, because I think it's easier to do this when it's not popped up with the dimensionals, I'm going to put a little bit of snail on the back, just a little, of the little starfish where I know I'm going to want it to glue onto. Oh, I got that a little bit darker maybe than I wanted, but that's okay. That's all right. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back. Those of you who take my classes are probably in shock because I always cut these down, but I didn't grab my minis, and I would normally have used the minis. I love the minis, but these were handy, so I just grabbed them. I don't know why my camera cuts me off so often. So what you did not see was I did adhere this down, and I did trim down the awesome Nature's Twine and added the little thing there. And then what I was doing was adding some of these beautiful Tranquil Tide textured sprinkles. And the way I did that is I have a few. I have one here, one there, two of them up here. I'm going to add a couple more. So thankfully I noticed that. I'm just doing a dot of the fine tip glue pen, and I'm actually doing the white, which if you look at them close, you can see that it's a bead. It has a little hole in the center, but that's all right. You know, it still works. So, and I'm just going to add another one down here, just so you guys can see what I've done. I'm going to grab this one, looks kind of cool. And they look like rocks. They're so awesome. Get on the glue. And now it's glued to my tweezers. There. Oh, you little stinker. There we go. And then you just set it aside and let it dry. It won't take too long. And the other thing that got cut off when I was trying to show you the finish of this, oh darn, don't forget to close these up. I will do it off camera and regret it. Okay, it happened again. I think I have to clean out my memory. I keep too much stuff on my camera. Anyway, I wanted to show you this adorable little tag. This was made when I cut out this piece right here for the grass. It left this piece of Designer Series paper looking so cute that I wanted to make a tag with it. So that's what I did. And you can see it uses basically the same colors as I've used before. This time I kept the center star in there. I just dirtied it up a little bit, and it is popped up pretty good. I also kind of, I don't think you guys can see, but I kind of curved it a little bit to make it a little more pop up, and then the burlap ribbon with the twine and a couple of those awesome tranquil texture sprinkles on there. But I just thought it would make a really cute little tag. So I hope you liked these projects, and we'll come back again. Please feel free to press that little button down there to subscribe to my YouTube channel, or go to MemoryInkers.com and follow my blog. I'm also on Facebook at facebook.com/MemoryInkers.com. I think it's facebook.com/MemoryInkers. I always forget that they want their .com in there. Anyway, but please do go to my blog today, because this is all part of a brand new hop that I created with a bunch of other demonstrators, where we call ourselves the What's New at SU hop group. And we are going to hop randomly whenever Stampin' Up! Has a new catalog release like they do now. Or if there's a new special, we may pop up when the new occasions and winter holiday catalogs come out. We will pop up and do a hop. We may hop every month. We may not. It's all kind of easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I would love to have you join us. So thanks again. It's been great. I truly appreciate you watching my video. Hope you have a fabulous day. Bye.